Hello, hello, hello. Oh, how are y'all doing today? Hello, beautiful people. You guys. Hello, Dr. Alicia. Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me? Okay,
I
all right. Can you
can.
hear me now?
I can hear you now. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
You
I haven't
know,
seen you in a while.
I know, but I've missed you. We talked like what yesterday?
Yeah, but this is the first time I'm seeing your face since
Oh
last
yes,
week.
yes. I've been looking pretty rough a couple days. Um,
Man,
I think we got something going. We got a couple people coming into this live today. Um, are you ready to start? You ready to start?
well, where you want to start, Jazz?
Okay. I'm gonna just cue us in. This is our first live, you guys. We're not coming here super formulated or super people love to call me when I'm on lives, and I'm like, not today, Lord. But I just wanted everybody to know, like, this is our first episode. Show us lots of love. Share it to like 3 people right now that need to talk about Black love, that's going through it, that's like, man, it's ratchet out here, it's ghetto out here. And I'm just gonna open it up. So, you guys, this is Dr. Alicia Watkins. We have literally birthed this series to raise awareness about healing and restoration of relationships within the Black community with a licensed therapist. So, like, this is somebody that's certified. If you got some traumas, you got some stuff that you need to go ahead and heal, because you know the Black community, we don't be able to heal and stuff like that. So, like, I brought somebody that can help us walk through that journey. And our first episode, you guys, is gonna be called "It's Your Birthright for Black Love." And while we're gonna start, I'm just welcoming you all here. I'm gonna give Dr. Alicia's intro because she deserves, and that's just it. She
Keep it
deserves.
short.
I'm
Keep
gonna
it
keep it
short.
short. I'm gonna keep it short, and I'm gonna give y'all a little bit about me, and we're gonna dive right in. Okay. So here we go. Dr. Alicia is a full professor of social work. She is a founder of Coaching with Dr. Alicia LLC, providing evidence-based skills to couples who wish to get married, improve their communication skills, and foster healthy relationships. Dr. Alicia wishes to use her own life experiences related to love, marriage, community building, self-exploration, and commitment to respectful living to inspire couples to become stronger together. She helps individuals, couples, and families heal from past issues that hinder current functionings. Dr. Alicia has been a licensed therapist for 20 years. Okay? 20
I'm
years.
older than I look.
Okay, now, baby, you look young. Don't be acting up like that. She considers her work to be her lifelong passion. And we're going to talk about how this even got started, how we're even on this live today. And it's just such a beautiful experience. But a little bit about me. I'm the plug. Really, I'm the plug. Really, I'm the plug. I help to motivate, educate, and inspire people to be all they're called to be simply by walking by faith and launching their gold. Their gold is the gifts that only the Lord delivers, aka their dreams. And a part of walking by faith, I preach on holistic lifestyle, meaning at the end of the day, you can have all the money in the world and you can build all this stuff, but you need the foundations of like mental health, love, therapy, fitness, all these things. So that's why I'm here, because I need healing myself. I'm a little bit jaded. I'm kind of over it, if you're honest. And I just want to go ahead and give the floor, like, Dr. Alicia. Dr.
Man, look,
Alicia,
you are
why did
so
you
fun.
start doing this?
Well, I mean, gosh. Well, first of all, I'm a second generation therapist. My mom's a therapist. It's
Good.
crazy. So I grew up just all in. My parent, first of all, my mom's a therapist and my dad is a social worker. So I grew up, in the 70s, just kind of like both my parents were kind of hippies. They didn't believe in, I never got spanked. So my ACEs score is really low because ACEs, I don't care. I don't know if people know what ACEs mean. It's Adverse Childhood Experiences Scale. And so it's a scale from 0 to 10. And the more times you have these traumatic situations happen to you when you're under 18, the higher you are in terms of adverse experiences when you were younger. But having parents who are therapists and in the helping field, you know, they didn't believe in spanking. They were like hands off. Both of them had a very similar sort of way of like anti-violence movement. I mean, my parents were all in the middle of that. So they weren't typical. Like, I think I was raised in a household that wasn't very typical for the Black experience in a lot of ways. So when I started talking to some of my Black friends, they talk about how they used to get beat by switches and belts and stuff. And I was just like, oh Lord, what is this? Like, not that their experience, my experience was better than theirs. It's just that I just didn't have, you know, all of those sort of experiences. But so that was one of the reasons why I became a therapist. I just came by it naturally. And another reason, it's really interesting because I was married for almost 15 years, and I did go through a divorce, and I was able to find love again. You know, and I think like if I can do it, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. And you know, I still, you know, my ex-husband, I have 3 children with my husband, so it's not like no baby daddy stuff going on. You know, I was married, had my 3 kids, and it just didn't pan out. And I never lost hope. I never in my mind thought that I would ever not be able to find love again. You know, because I consider myself lovable. I'm a lovable person, so I know I can find it. But I mean, Jasmine, just how you talked about how all the money in the world doesn't help. You know, you can have all the money in the world, but where are you in terms of your mental health? And I think that's so important because just as I know TD Jakes, you know, he always preaches about the abundance life. Like, we're all entitled to have this abundance in terms of having a prosperous life financially. But not too many people are talking about, you know, it is just as much your birthright to have all the money in the world and have all the love in the world. And I truly believe that. And so with that, I'm just like, no, you can find love. It's there for you. It's probably right in front of you. I mean, who knew I ended up marrying a man that I've known almost 30 years. Like, yeah. I'm married to Boyce Watkins, and I have known him way before he was Dr. Boyce Watkins. Yeah. I knew him when he was a little graduate student trying to make it through math class. Yeah. and I mean, he was always my favorite friend, and we always had fun together and everything. But anyway, so that's what it is. And so it's just, you have to kind of believe, and you can't listen to all of this negativity that I think is it's like a disease. It's like it's penetrating the minds of our people in our community, and it makes us believe something that's not true. So yeah. An abundance life is for you, not only materially, anything materially is an abundance for you, but also in terms of love. There's wealth everywhere, and you should have wealth in your life, in every aspect of your life. And there's no reason why in this day and age that you can't get it.
Yeah. I know that's right. First off, you already preaching. Ooh.
No.
Like, something you said is, you know, you believed in love because you were lovable. And that stuck so well with me because I know I'm a lovable person, but some kind of way you can tell yourself these things like, dang, it's something wrong with me, or I done been in all these relationships, but it ain't work out. And, you know, maybe this isn't gonna, like, I'm never gonna find love. And I talk to so many women, Dr. Alicia, which is why I feel like it's so powerful us to even be collaborating, because I'm attached to the high performing women of the world that are just like, I don't know where my king is.
That would be me too.
I'm attached to him, but we ain't figuring it out. It's just, you said that was something I'm gonna keep with me. Like, I'm a lovable person, therefore I can find love, and this is a part of like my journey, my testimony, and the things that it can happen for me. And the abundance lifestyle is applies to more than money. It becomes with relationships too. So that was so good. I got a question for you. Like, why did you started getting into therapy and you were a part of this work, but you could have chose other careers. How have you been able to choose this and then stick with it, especially through the pandemic and all the relationships that was going on and like everything? So like, how did you continue that industry of helping people find themselves?
Yeah, I will say, gosh, I started off wanting to get my clinical license, and that was it. Like, I did all of the training. It was a lot of work to get my clinical license, and I was able to get my clinical license, but I always knew that I wanted to be able to teach and I wanted to be able to give back, because my father was a college professor and I loved that life. I would go visit him in the summers, and I'm like, what, 3 months out of the year and you're not doing any work, but you get paid all year round? I mean, it was just I love universities. I love campuses. I love just the whole freeness of it. Everything was so convenient. Everything you ever need is right there on the college campus. And I thought it was just like really cool. And I'm just a lover of learning. And so how awesome, like right now, next Monday, my classes start next Monday. So I'm like getting ready and reading articles and putting my syllabi together and reaching out to students and mentoring students and being able to train the next generation of therapists. Like, that is exciting. I feel like my role is just so important. I feel useful as a practitioner. And during the pandemic, it's so interesting because never in a million years would I ever think that I have my own practice. I worked at a private practice. Someone else, conjured up their own practice, and I was just one of the therapists that worked with many different therapists. And that was all nice, but my husband was just like, you can do this on your own. I was like, there's no way. I don't think I can do this, because I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a marketing person. I have no idea. It is like amazing that I'm on Instagram Live, because this is not my sort of thing. I'm a therapist.
It will.
I don't know. It's not normally, it's foreign for me. But the content area, my expertise in the content area, I had all of that down, but I didn't have in a way where I can convey it. And so Voice was just like, you know what? Do your own practice. That's only how you're going to be. Why am I paying? By the way, I was billing clients. Suppose I bill clients, $200 a session, and I was only getting 40 of it. I was like, why am I only getting a little piece? Now I can get the whole chunk of the money. I don't have to like give anybody else part of the money, because they did the marketing for me. So, anyway, so that's how during the pandemic, I just say, you know what, I'm just going to do it on my own. And I've never looked back. I've never felt sorry. I love that private practice that got me started. They'll take me back in a minute. So if anything happens, I definitely have job security. But I am really living the type of life right now that I always dreamed that I would live. Seriously. And there's nothing special about me though. Like, I think anybody listening to me right now, they can do it too, if they're not already doing it.
Yes. Yes. I mean, you talked about just making sure that the life that you live right now is the life that you want. And I talk to so many people that say, I wish I would have, I wish I should have done this. I got to this part of my life and I have so many regrets. And like for me, I just came to a point, like I'm 28 and I think I was like 26 when I decided I was like, I'm done with corporate America, but then I had to go through even more stuff to still be done with it. But I was just like, I'm not at my highest self. And I want to die empty. And what I mean by that is I want to continue to pour and to sow and to build and to unite and just to help us elevate. Like, that's it. If I'm not helping somebody, am I really useful? And if I'm not useful, what am I here for? It doesn't make sense.
Oh, I love what you're saying, because not only is your birthright to have love, but it's also in that journey to get what you want. It is going to require you to grow. It's going to require you to expand. It's going to require you to unfold.
Ooh.
And yeah, it will. And guess what? The best way to grow, expand, and unfold is to be in a relationship with another person.
Okay, well, let's go right there.
It's going to push you past your limit.
Look. So one thing that I always find so curious in the dating circles that I've been in, or like I'm a part of the millennials. You know, they'll say if you get in a relationship, it doesn't work out, then you need to go heal. And then when you're somebody that goes and tries again and it doesn't work and it doesn't work and it doesn't work, it's something wrong with you. But then I'm like, how are you going to figure it out unless you actually put yourself out there? Like, how many times did it take for you to ride a bike in order for you to go? How many times did it take you to go through school and like, then you pass? Like, why we can't apply that same energy with dating? And why is there such a stigma around, okay, well, I didn't get it right here and I'm still trying, I just refuse to give up because I do believe it's my birthright. Why is there a stigma that women sometimes give? Heck, it could even be men that give it too, on just, I guess you're somebody that actually dates. And if it doesn't work out, you keep trying. Like, why is there such a stigma around that?
Yeah, I don't get that either. I mean, there's no virtue in being alone.
Ooh,
To me.
What she done told y'all? She said there's no virtue in being alone.
There's no virtue in being alone. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I think it's a cosmic urge.
Ooh.
It's a cosmic urge. The desire for love is a cosmic urge that's given to you. And you really have to believe it. I mean, there's a Bible quote I use a lot, Carl, and I'm not a biblical person, so if I mess it up, forgive me. But it's like, as you thinketh in your heart, so be it.
Ooh.
You know, and as soon as you start thinking anything negative about dating, then I'm not going to do that. And you feel like you have to protect yourself, and you feel like, you know, some of those negative thoughts about your potential partner, before you even go out on a date, you got about 20 different negative thoughts that come through your head. You got to stop yourself from doing that, because as you think it in your heart, so be it. So everything that you think, that's what's going to come out in that date. So you really do, in a way, have to kind of look back at what are the patterns and all of that I work with clients with, about what's happening with you, what is going on with you, because they think everybody's experiencing it. And just because you've experienced something with some man, that doesn't mean all men are like this. And I cannot stand anybody who considers themselves a relationship guru that's going to sit there and talk about, categorically define an entire group of people as less than or unworthy or value. If I hear value one more time, I'm gonna scream. Everybody has value. Okay. Everybody. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter what you look like. Who says somebody looks good or someone doesn't? Whose definition is this? Yes. I do not like that word. Whenever I hear it, I cringe, because what are you talking about? Value. You're not a valuable person. Yes, you are. God made you.
Well,
how's the dating scene for you, Jasmine?
Listen, I have a lot of thoughts on that, and we're gonna have episodes that are gonna unpack it. But I think what you said, and thank y'all for the people that put it in the chat, Richard and Tia, when y'all said there's no virtue to being alone, it's a cosmic urge. Like, can we dive into what the heck is a cosmic urge? Like, is it that feeling of I'm alone and I do desire something, and it's like it's always gonna be there? Like, what does the cosmic urge really mean?
Well, I mean, everybody knows. I mean, I'm feeling preachy. I don't know why. It's that Sunday. I'm feeling preachy, but you know,
word 7 days.
And I'm not a very religious person, which is really interesting. But you know, Jesus is love, ooh. And to get into that Christ consciousness, you have to have love in your heart. And what's the point of having love? I was just eating. Boyce ordered Chipotle, and so I was outside eating tacos with my daughter, and it's so funny. And she was like, we pontificate when we're out there, and she said, "Gosh, if there's a tree that falls in the forest and no one's there to see it, does it really fall?" And I said, "No, it doesn't. It doesn't fall. There is no tree. There is nothing, because if you're not there to experience it, to hear it, to see it, then it's not there." So if there was no way for us to be born as human beings and not experience love, what's the whole point of being here? It doesn't make any sense. It coalesces, Lord, with our true purpose in life. What is the whole purpose? What is the whole purpose but to love and to be loved? Why are we here on this earth?
But people, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, you know, I'm 28. I've been married. I've been divorced. Every time I get out of a relationship, women, I be like, you know, I'm thinking about dating again. You need to just focus on yourself. You need to just heal. And I just be like, dang, like, why is it that I can't express the fact that I actually desire another human? Why can't I express the fact that I'm actually wanting that? And it's like I get chastised, and I'm like, well, I don't want another woman, and I have nothing against LGBTQ. But at the end of the day, I'm a person, and I know what it is that I like and what I want, and I haven't gotten it yet, so I have that hunger to have those pieces. Just like if you had a degree and you finished that milestone, no matter how hard it was, and you decide I want to get another one, ain't nobody gonna say don't get another degree. But as soon as you're like, well, I want to keep taking a chance, and look, well, you need to heal, and it's something wrong with you. And I am just tired of that narrative. I just don't think that that produces the results that you want. And I do think that dating and love is a part of statistics. I think that it's a math equation, and that ultimately, the more you do it, the better your results will become. I don't know what you think about that, but please let me know.
Yeah, and I would like for you to explain a little more about this ratchet ghetto that's going on. You said things are ratchet and things are ghetto. What is happening?
Okay, so first off, y'all, obviously we know that there's a somewhat of a generational gap. But what I'm pretty much getting at is like there's a world of the internet where we got blogs and we got podcasts and we got all of these people that are pretty much, you know, after the late Kevin Samuels, like it's almost like an uproar and telling women what they should be doing, and or telling men what they should be doing. And it is just a constant narrative that men ain't ish, women ain't ish. And the ghetto-ness is you can be dating a man and he got 3 other women and you don't find out about it. Or you can be investing and talking, and then by the time you put them on Instagram, you know, your relationship could be over. Or, you know, there are so many scenarios that continuously communicate that being with a Black person is trauma, it's horrific, it is something that will just about kill you. And if I'm honest, literally there was something in the news that happened a week ago, and I posted about it, and it really got under my skin. And it was about a woman who, that the narrative or the blog or the post was talking about how, you know, she got broken up with, and so she went and killed her. She tried to commit suicide by going and like running into a car with and killing people. And the narrative was she got her heart broke. And I was like, for me, I looked at that in so many different angles, and that was so controversial, but it's happening every single day. Maybe not to the extreme where you're taking a car and you're completely driving it, but people are like going through it, depression, mental health, all from loving or trying to love each other. And then the rules of dating have completely changed. We have apps now, and if you don't like somebody, you can just swipe right, or you can just get on the app again, or you can just be like, I'm done with you. And there's so many options. I know men, they're probably like, you know, dang, it's hard for me to be faithful because all I gotta do is get on Instagram and type in Instagram girl. Or with women, it's just like, you know, we out here trying to date, trying to love, maybe, and then we find out the man we went been with this, and this person, and they calling us, and, you know, I got some stories for you, I don't mind. And then I'll even give you an example for myself. Like, yes, I've been married and divorced, and that was a whole internship of an experience, and that's what I consider it to be, a piece of paper that I signed with to get an internship of an experience. And I was putting myself back out there, and a man told me, straight up, I don't do divorced women. I was like, well, you know, that was alarming because I'm like, like, this is the ghetto. It's like people literally looking at you, telling you, oh, I don't do this, I don't do that, I don't, like, you're disqualified off of superficial things. And so it's just like, dang, this is why it's so bad, because at any time you can just be ghosted and be done. It's like there's no rules, there's no standards to Black love at all. There's no standards to love at all. And then you, of course, have the narrative that, again, I think we should unpack in another episode of the high value. And that conversation was, honestly, if I'm honest, it was for an elite class of people that, to be honest, a lot of us shouldn't have really heard those conversations because we were not even in those tax brackets. We're not. And but it gave privilege. And again, I'm pulling from the education that women have sat down with me. It gave privilege to men that don't do half of a high value man or whatever that is. They don't got a pot to piss in. They got all these demands, and they want you to bow down to them. And at the end of the day, can't give you nothing in return. So it's ghetto all around, but it's more ghosting culture. It's superficial. Of course, you got your social media stuff. It's just like, it's no standards or no rules for it. And so everybody's just taking pieces and bits of it, and it's just turning into a hypocrisy of a whole mess. It's a mess.
Okay, I was taking notes as you were talking. First thing I want to talk about is, you mentioned the ratchet ghetto-ness and the trauma of it all. And, you know, and that's the thing with trauma. If you've experienced trust violations when you're younger, it really has an impact on your psyche. It has an impact on what you deem to be healthy and not healthy. Okay. And you're given messages. Actually, you're given two messages. You're given messages on what could be healthy, but then you're given another message that this is what healthy trust looks like, but it's just not for you. And you internalize that and you think there's something wrong with you. But anyway, fast forward, when it comes to you in relationships, what that trauma does to you is that you still have that cosmic urge. However, you're afraid. It's this fear and this sense of panic that comes over somebody when they feel like, oh my God, they're getting too close. So I'm going to say something. I don't do divorced women. You know, that's fear. Only reason why you would say something like that is that you are scared to get close to somebody, because what does a divorced woman say to you? That this is a woman that ain't gonna put up with your shit. This is a woman that got fucking standards. This is a woman that's gonna call you out on your stuff. Okay? So it is a fear. It is fear that's driving people to say, I want to put my guard down and I want to trust this person, but I don't necessarily do. But you still go out there and date because you still have this cosmic urge and this desire to love. And if you find somebody where you feel like you want to be faithful to and you want to have this sort of intimacy with them, sometimes it can be crippling and they will ghost you. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with what's going on inside them. It has to do with their own self-worth or lack thereof. It has to do with the fact that they're just looking for something, picking at something at you so they can say, she's just like every other woman, because that is what they think of in their heart. And that is what they're looking for. And they're always going to find it because they're always going to be looking for it. Fear. And fear and love cannot exist. Fear and love is actually the same thing. You know, on the continuum, you talk about vibration and all of that, but it just can't exist at the same time. And so people get triggered and they get upset and they start remembering how their mama did all these things to them. They couldn't trust their mom to come through for them when they needed something. For some of these men, when they were young and they were growing up and they needed somebody to be there for them, to hug them, to hold them, to make them feel lovable, that person wasn't there for them. And so therefore, none of these women are going to be there for me. And those are the people who will follow Kevin Samuels to his grave. And they will go to their grave alone, lonely, with nobody, depressed, anxious, sad, and they'll never have no woman at all. I said it.
Y'all,
I stand by it.
My edges are going. I don't know if y'all can y'all send me some edge control and some growth oil, because they're going. You said a couple of things, and I wanted to ask you, like, why are men so afraid to be held accountable? Like, what has been in the Kool-Aid of this lack of accountability?
Yeah, so in order to be, and that's what it comes from, shame. So there's some people who can't be accountable for anything because they feel like if there's something wrong with what I did, then there's something wrong with me. And they can't separate behavior from who you are as a person. So I'm with my other daughter, and she's in trouble. She gets in trouble and I have to take her phone. And so I let her know, I said, you know what, this isn't you. You're a wonderful, sweet, smart girl who made a mistake, who was naughty, who did a naughty behavior. So what I do is I make sure that when I put her on punishment by taking her phone, that it's not her as a person. She's a beautiful, wonderful, capable person. This is not you. I even tell her, this isn't you. This isn't the type of girl that your behavior was unacceptable, but you are lovable. And so I make that distinction with her because I want her to feel guilty for what she did, but I don't want her to feel ashamed. Because people who feel ashamed, they can't take accountability for their behavior because it ruins their self-image. They feel like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me. Because deep down inside, they feel like there is something wrong with them because they've been told these lies. And that's another thing. As you think it in your heart, so be it. Sometimes some of these parents put nothing but hate in their heart. Sometimes they go out in the world and they get these terrible images of themselves, of Black men and Black women, and what that does, it puts hate in their heart. And so that is what permeates. They can't take accountability because then they would have to say that I am a complete fuck up, and you're not. You're not. The reality is you're not. But they come to this understanding that there's something wrong with them. And they've never been able to distinguish those two. And they live with shame.
Okay, so let's take an example. There's been times in my life where I failed at something and I have equated that action or that behavior with my identity. And it has in the past been like, oh, I'm a failure, until you go to therapy and then you do the work and you know that that's just a part of what happened to you. It's not you. So maybe there's someone on this phone right now listening to us and they're like, I feel like I'm a fuck up. I feel like I am somebody that is something wrong with me. Where do they start to unpack that so that they can begin the healing that's necessary? So it's not about them being the mess up, the fuck up. It's actually just something that they did that they can forgive themselves for.
Yeah. So again, it goes back to the thinking. And so the negative thinking, it's like it's a catastrophe. It's like you want to be perfect, which is impossible in and of itself. I mean, it is a paradox in and of itself because being a human being means you are going to be flawed in some way. Yeah. But you want to be. So in it, there's always going to be times where you've made mistakes and you have to tell yourself. It's the thinking process, and you really have to stop yourself. Or you have to have a conversation. I was talking to Voice about it the other day. I was kind of explaining to him about cognitive behavioral therapy, which is what we use, is that you write down these negative thoughts. And I when I meet with some clients and I have them write down all the negative thoughts that come through their head, I said, I want you to name it. Who told you this? And I have them name the person that told them that. Tell me I want the name of the person who lied to you. Because they lied to you. And then when you start to see it in this subjective way, you start to see the healthy you. The healthy you is the cosmic urge to love and to be good, because God is good and that's part of who you are. Everything is good and all this, but the negative thoughts are all those people in your life that lied to you and told you things about you that wasn't true. And you have to have a conversation with that person in your head, because a lot of times you can't go back and tell your mama or your aunt or whoever that they lied. You can't do that. It doesn't even make any difference. And plus, even if you told them, they're not going to be accountable for their behavior anyway. But you have to pay attention to the thoughts that come in your head. And instead of fighting the thoughts, I think you should just make friends with it and say, look, we're not going to do this today. I am not going to have you interfere with my mood to make me depressed. And I'm not going to have you interfere and start making me feel anxious, like I have to scurry somewhere and be perfect. I am perfect in God's eyes. So I don't need to be perfect because I'm already perfect.
Dang, I hear setting boundaries and not cutting somebody off, but saying this is the level of access to me. And if you can't abide by these certain rules, you can't get to me because it's not this. We don't have reciprocity. This is going to be an exchange that depletes me. It drains me. It doesn't add to me. That's what I hear. This is good. Y'all, is this good? Are y'all liking? Y'all commenting? Or y'all subscribing? Look, y'all need to go follow us. Y'all not. Y'all need to show us some love. Get these hearts up. Get these hearts up. Get these hearts up.
You are hilarious.
Listen, okay. Cause you really snatching, you really talking so much. Like, you guys, I'm gonna now tell y'all how I met her and how this even came to be, because I'm gonna be honest. I went to the Power of Networking conference. I did not know I was gonna meet Dr. Alicia.
That's crazy.
If I'm 100, I did not. I swear on this is how it happened. So I run into a person. His name's Dalmar, and he's working with these guys, and he's a part of this startup. And we like hit it off, and we're communicating. We're just talking about business, and I wound up having dinner with the team, and that led to so many. Next day, he was like, "Oh, I want you to meet." It was the workout, the Rumble.
Yeah,
they were like, "I want you to meet Dahan," and Dahan showed me the Rumble people, and they were like, "I want you to sit at the table with us," and I'm like, "Look at me elevating in life, getting at the table," and literally, I sat at the table, and you sat right next to me. And I was like, I had no idea who you were, but your energy was vibrant. You were nice. You were like, yeah, I'm here. And I was just like, you know, you were asking us who we were. And I was like, I was really trying to say, like, I'm just here by the grace of God, literally, because my whole life up until this point has been shambles. And you were like, oh, well, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins' wife, and he's going to be speaking. And I'm like, okay, I'm not sure what that means. I'm like, what do? You're like, you're a matchmaker. I said, you're a what?
Yeah, I'm matching people together.
My eyes, I was like, she has the answers to my problems. Because I'm looking into arranged marriages because me picking ain't working, okay? And you was like, I was like, I'm gonna let you know, if you can help me find a man, you are gonna break generational curses off of my entire family. My lineage is gonna be saved. Legacy is gonna be here. I said, please help me. And you was like, sure. And then, you know, we had our conversation, and we can get into that in another day, another time. But you was delivering on some promises, okay?
I was like, shoot, here we go. We got this guy, this guy, this guy.
Yes. And I was like, okay, you know, this is looking up. Like, we love it here. Somebody that, and you said something so key. He was like, yeah, I help pretty much high performing men find women. I said, well, I know a lot of women over here that could use you. I said, do you do social media? And you was like, yeah, but you know, I did a live and I did that. I was like, oh, let's do this. I do the social. I do it, baby.
I'm not good with social media.
Y'all, we came together and like this got birthed. And like, obviously this is like the little birthday, and we'll celebrate it in a year and see how it all matriculates.
Yes.
But the fact that you was like, oh, you help Black men, or you help men heal, and then you match them up. I said, oh, my audience needs some matching, because we ain't picking well. It's ghetto.
It's ghetto and ratchet.
It's ratchet over here. So it's just like, even, you want to tell us more about your matchmaking and how you started that? Because I don't even know how you got in that business.
Oh my God. Well, it is a business, but not much of a business, but it's budding. It really is. So it started where I had a speed dating at the All Black National Convention, and I was thinking, oh, I hope like 40 people come to this. So I had enough. We had enough for about 40 people. I said, oh, maybe 20 men, 20 women. We'll just, you know, take them from there. And so, so we added that on to the convention just as a afterthought, really. And maybe Boyce was just trying to make me feel included into his convention. You know, he be trying to help me, help me feel. He tried to build me in, but I mean, he really did think there was some value, of course, to it. Because you know him doesn't mean he gonna help you unless he really believes in you. But anyway, so he was like, sure, let's do this. So we got one room, and by the time maybe like an hour or so before we did the speed dating, there was like almost 100 people that signed up. And I was hoping there would be 40 people. So we had a spillover room, we had 2 rooms, and then we also had people all in the little lobby area. And there was a lot of people hooked up. There was actually 2 people who were on their way down to speed dating that met on their way down to speed dating. So just being there, they just, a lot of hookups were happening. And so it was really nice because it was the first day of the convention. And so everybody, I'm like, look around. These are the single people, no awkward moments. Because we in the era of Me Too, and who knows what people, men are afraid to approach women sometimes because you don't know what you're going. It's very intimidating right now.
I'm tired of them today.
I don't know. It's hard. So maybe they just don't, they're a little shy or whatever. But I'm like, don't be shy. These are women here raising their hands saying, these are the men who are saying that they're available. So we did that. And so I also did a speed dating event in Atlanta. And so I got to meet some really beautiful women in Atlanta. I did get a bunch of men on my database. And so I take some time out of my week where I'm just busy scurrying around, matching couples together. And I have an assistant that helps me with everything. But that's the matchmaking. You can sign up. So anybody that wants to sign up and add their name to the database, you can go to boyceandalicia.com, and right at the top, it'll say matchmaking with Dr. Alicia or a tab. So you just click on there, and I check it. I check it once a week. So, and I download them and I reach out to people.
Boyceandalicia.com, boyceandalicia.com.
There's a lot of free stuff. If you go on there, you get some free videos that we've done. I think Boyce put his Love and Money book. He has a book on financial lovemaking. I think you can get that for free there. And I got some stuff that I put up there for free. And so you join our mailing list and you get all that. You know how that is. So yeah.
So my thing is, I learned you was a matchmaker, and I was like,
yes.
God, where are more of you at? Like, we need an industry full of matchmakers, because I know I done it a couple times where I've like, I think you would be great with that person, or I think you'd be great with that person. And like, obviously I never wanted love to be a part of my brand for a multitude of reasons, because I just couldn't get it right. No matter how hard, like, I tried. It's hard. It's one of the hardest things that you'll ever embark on,
Mm-hmm.
And it's harder than building a brand or a sustainable business. Like, it's like conjoining your life with another human being that you just met and you like them, and then you like, all the stuff. And it's just like, to be honest, we need what I think our parents, if they had healthy love, could provide, which is somebody to walk with you in your dating process, to help you when you do get arguments, when you do figure out, like, well, you do it this way and I do it this way. How can we come up with a compromise? Or like, even if there are like opportunities of like, these are the list of questions to ask. So you save so much time up front, I'm not gonna lie, Dr. Alicia, like, I was a product of the purity culture and he needs to be all in the church, and he gotta be
a God-fearing man. Get you a God-fearing man.
It's just like, that did not give. I'm gonna be honest, that industry did not give what it was supposed to give. It sent a whole bunch of black women up, and like, I'm just gonna be honest, like, we saw how that purity energy, like, I'm not trying to speak on names, because I know at the end of the day I may one day meet them, but like, let's go with the Franklins. Like, they did it all the right ways. They did they tour, and it's just like, it didn't matriculate.
It did not work out.
And then it's like, there are some people that have been together since they was 18, and I know they was hitting the sheets and they was doing it all, and they are there. I literally know a family member, someone, have been together since one was 16, one was 18. They've been together for 40 years. And it's just like, I don't think it's a formula to this, but maybe there's a formula in finding someone that matches you, and like, y'all making a decision to stick it out. Like, is that what it is?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you talked about compromise. Compromise is so important. You talked about being flexible. That is so important. You see Boyce over here. What you doing?
Hey.
Take a picture.
Why are you over here?
Hello.
Being silly.
Hey, Dr. Boyce.
How'd you do?
Hey, Jess.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm gonna walk away.
Okay.
How you doing?
He's over here distracting me.
That is a good conversation y'all having. I've been listening. I'm
Have you
learning.
really?
I'm
I'm
learning. Yes. Bye.
Bye.
What was I talking about?
Yeah, we love a supportive husband, okay? He wants to make sure you know that you're loved and he supports you. You know how many men ain't supporting my content? like, subscribe, but wanted to be with me, don't listen to me. They had to go. They had to go. Go right out the door too.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, oh my God. Supportive. Let's just say you have to be supportive. And the thing is that if you're not flexible and you don't help each other meet each other's dreams and just be friends with each other, what happens eventually is that all this resentment builds up. And when the resentment builds up over the years and you don't deal with it, I mean, we know that couples who finally go to therapy deal with their problems a minimum of about 5 to 7 years before they actually go in and seek some help. Can you imagine how much resentment can be built up if you're not getting your needs met? And it's been 5 years, you've been pissed about this topic and you have not been able to resolve it. I mean, it's like, I don't even want to look at you if you have that resentment. And so it's too late. So a lot of times I see a lot of couples and it's way too late. It's just like, they should have been in here 10 years ago. They should have been, actually, couples should come and see me before they even get engaged.
I believe,
to try to figure out, because everybody you like is not, let me tell you, love is beautiful. I just talked about how love is, but love is not enough to marry somebody.
It's not. It's not.
It is not enough.
It's a business decision at the most. I started out saying I had a piece of paper with an experience that was my internship.
Yeah.
The internship was done. We let that internship go.
Yeah, it was time. You learned your lesson. You met your educational goals.
I did.
Move on. You put your hours in. You got your certificate. Yeah.
And also, it's like, if you don't, like, I came from a divorce background. My parents divorced when I was 7 years old, and I knew what that was like. And I did everything I knew to do not to get divorced. I read the books. I took courses. Like, I went to the extreme. And I saved myself. Like, I've been writing it on Facebook so I can kind of like just continue to like share my journey. But like, I thought I did all the right ways. And then I even did it to such a soul level to where I didn't have a white dress. I didn't have a big wedding. I shouldn't have married nobody in 7 weeks and did it in 24 hours in Las Vegas either. So that's something on that. And we can unpack that energy at any time that you would like to. But, you know, I thought I knew that person, and it wasn't like I would never just bash them, but like I really thought that I knew them because I had sat in class with them for 7 years. And it was just like, I finally thought like, oh, wow, maybe God has sent him and I walk by faith. And like, I'm at this such, like, I'm a risk taker, and that gets me in trouble, but it also gets me really far. So you gotta know your strengths and your weaknesses. So overall, you know, I'm so glad for that experience because I did it in my early 20s. What would it be like for you to do it and then like it still don't work out? So it's just like you never know. So it's like you got to give yourself grace because we all just on this earth trying to figure it out. And I love what you said, like, come to therapy even before you get engaged. Once you get engaged, that's really it.
It's too late.
You're waiting for a date that is honestly a superficial date because it's just like any other thing, another milestone that's come with more events. It's just like by the time you say you do, it's done.
Yeah, it really is done. And it's so hard. It's hard to go back on it once you start. Can you imagine you set a date and you tell everybody about the date and then you buy your dress and you spend all this money on your dress? Weddings are what, $50,000 now for a nice big wedding? And you can't even spend a couple $1,000s on the figuring out how you want your marriage to go. You spend all this money on one day. People spend money on one day, and they do not want to spend any more money coming to see me so that they can plan for how they want their marriage to operate. Yeah. They don't know what they want to do. So, I mean, I can't even imagine just doing that. And then you have to disappoint everybody if it doesn't work out. You have to, I mean, if you call off a wedding, can you imagine calling a wedding off? You know, it's just, you have to disappoint everybody. You're losing all this money. Everybody's like,
but then that, honestly,
crazy.
It stops becoming about you two and it becomes everybody else. But everybody else, once the day is over, they're literally not going to be there to help you sustain the thing that you kept going because of them. So it was always about them versus it being about y'all. So it's just like, I kind of told myself, yes, I have a nice little experience. But to be honest, like, I'm on that Grey's Anatomy type energy. Piece of paper, stick it on the wall. I'm gonna do this with you. You gonna do it with me. If we can't do it, we gonna take the piece of paper down. And that's like, I fell in love with that philosophy ever since I watched the full Grey's Anatomy, because I was like, that's what it is.
That is so funny.
I'm dead serious. I'm like, if I be with somebody, it's a piece of paper, we can get a napkin. Do you know that Twitter was started because Jack Dorsey was like, I wrote my ideal on a piece of paper? If a whole company can be started on a piece of paper, my darn marriage can too.
Interesting. I love it. I love it. That is so funny. And then I think, I don't know, as you were talking, I was talking about how costly it is. You know, I'm thinking about how expensive it is. I'm thinking about how expensive it is to get a divorce.
It's even more expensive. And then what's crazy, and we can kind of unpack that. When I was trying to get my divorce, he didn't want to sign the paper. He wanted and he didn't want to sign it. I was chasing him to leave me. I said, please, I'm in bondage. I said, let me go. You don't want me. You don't want to be with me. Why won't you freaking I filed the divorce. I had to sit through the hard work of figuring the paperwork out. You left my tail and then didn't want to leave and then didn't want to leave. It was so confusing. And I think it's a man's thing. Like, you know, they don't really want to do that. They don't want to do that. They don't want
men for the most part, they won't ask for a divorce. Men don't ever want to get divorced.
Oh,
they don't want to. But you know what? What's funny is that sometimes they get to the point where they don't want to work on anything, but they definitely don't want to leave you. Usually, as the woman. Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, Dr. Alicia, we'll unpack my life, but I'm gonna be honest. I can't understand it for the life of me. Somebody asked me to marry them in 7 weeks, and I literally was like, am I on a game show? Like, is this a TV show? Like, I was looking around because I was in Las Vegas, and he's from Las Vegas. Like, what are the odds? And I'm just like, oh, I'm on a TV show. Like, this is my time. Like, act, Jasmine, act. And I'm like, oh, no, he's serious. He real serious. He went and got a ring. And I'm like, oh, my freaking God. And at this time, y'all, I had never seen anybody turn down a proposal. I had not seen anybody even turn down a ring in my age. Women out here fighting to get them. I just got handed one, and I was like, what am I to do? So it's like, I kind of got put on the spot, and I had no idea it was even coming. But then the kicker, he was like, oh yeah, we got to finish this in 24 hours. Like, I want to marry you tomorrow, and I don't want to plan a wedding with my I don't want to plan a wedding with my fiance. I want to plan a wedding with my wife. And here I am, Google-eyed. Ooh, I never heard of that before.
You got so swept up. Oh, you know, as you were talking, okay, sometimes you even if you, I know people who've gotten married after knowing each other for 4 months and it worked. You know what I mean? So sometimes you try to reduce error, but in some sense, there's an X factor in there too. So you are taking a leap of faith in a lot of ways. And if it doesn't work out, I really think that you should have compassion for yourself.
Yeah.
You should be able to forgive yourself. And when you talked about these regrets that you have, I mean, if you ever want to like sit back and think about your regrets, you know, also think about how you were feeling in the moment when you made those decisions that you know you shouldn't have made. You also need to think about, what was it that drove you to do this? You know, what was it? What were you feeling? What were you thinking? What were you hoping? And out of it all, you could even make a list of lessons learned. And there's a lot of different things you can do, not only lessons learned, but also ways to, what's the word? Make amends. There's a way where you can make amends. And I think for you, Jazz, is doing stuff like this. This is your way of making amends. Having really beautiful, honest, open, transparent conversations about your life. This is your way of making amends for the regret that you made. I really do believe that.
And also too, Dr. Boyce, I've been in therapy like since last November, October, consistently every single week. Like I've been doing the work. I also didn't date until my divorce was final, whatever that was. That I made sure I chilled. You know, I got into another relationship. It didn't work out. And when I noticed that this wasn't the person, I didn't penalize myself for it. I tried my best to say, hey, we're not good. Like, this isn't the best relationship for me. Like, this isn't what I need at this time. And I was able to move forward. And I didn't sit over here and like go into a little hermit shell. I was just like, I needed to gather data, and I did. I gathered data, and once I gathered the data, like, I'm gonna move on, because that's what men do. They gather data and they be like, I'm on to the next. So I'm like, why I can't adopt some of these principles? Like, I want to be on to the next. They go on. Like, let me go on.
Yeah, yeah, that's really good. And I think like I love that you were in therapy to try to like figure out and tease all of that out about, you know, what drove you to do some of the things that you're doing, and how it can set you in the right place to move forward, but it also just has a place where you could just get a lot of stuff off your chest.
Yeah.
I mean, I find, you know, it's so funny when I first started doing therapy, you know, you're just kind of green. The very first thing I realized is that sometimes like saying absolutely nothing and doing absolutely nothing, people kind of just them talking it out loud, they figure out their own answers on their own. And then they turn around and go, well, thank you, Dr. Alicia. That really helped me. And I'm like, I didn't do anything but just go, oh, really? Say more about that. Oh, okay. And I'm doing simple stuff like that, saying nothing, but just 50 minutes of them just talking. They'll go, oh, I think I done figured out life now. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week. And it's just because just having like an empathetic ear, a listening ear, just part of it I learned is that's the key. Yeah, getting it off your chest.
Getting it off your chest, and then, to be honest, to do self-reflection. Like, I love reflecting. Like, I'll reflect on a lot of stuff. Like, I'm gonna reflect on today and how I got here. Like, I have been in nothing but in nostalgia, because, you know, Christian, like, we came to this conference and we literally gave it our all. Like, we had nothing else left. I gave my all at this conference. And it was like preparation meets opportunity. And this is the pure representation of that. But it was like, it came in such genuine forms. Like, I didn't even know who I was really sitting next to. And and that's what I think makes it even more real, because I was like, I just need help. Like, I know if I need the help somebody else does, and I'm willing to put myself out there and to share my journey in order to help somebody else with theirs. And I feel like that's what's so important. And, you know, as one of the formats of our show, we always want to like end off with therapy tips, and we are getting closer to the hour. But Dr. Alicia, like, what are 3 therapy tips to convince you that it's your birthright to love?
Okay, I think like based on what we've talked about today. Well, first of all, before I start off on that, I just want to say this was such a great idea, and I cannot wait for next Tuesday.
I can't wait either.
I cannot wait for next Tuesday. And the other thing I wanted to say is that, you know, I don't normally travel with Boyce. When Boyce goes and does these financial, power networking conference, whatever, I don't have, why am I there? Like, it has nothing to do with like my area expertise or anything. And I just go. And I came in that Friday. So I'll leave it up to Boyce. I said, Boyce, if you want me to come along, I'll come along. If you want, I'll take pictures and get you ready for your social media and all this kind of stuff. So I just come whenever he said, and just as a whim, he's like, why don't you just come down to Houston? And I was like, I don't know. And then finally, he's like, no, I'd like for you to be there. I'm leaving. He left much earlier than I did. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll just go. So it was just like, I was just there on a whim. So I really, in terms of me being there, I didn't have like a tag or anything. You know, people were like, you don't have an ID card. You don't have a membership or whatever that thing around your neck that tells you that you need to be there. I didn't have any of that kind of stuff. I was just like, I'm just here with one of the speakers taking pictures, you know. So it was just really interesting how I wasn't even going to come. You know, it wasn't even, we had spent a lot of time in Atlanta earlier. And so I was like, this is too much travel, but I just did it anyway. So that's really interesting that just on a whim, I decided to go. I'm like, yeah, I'll go with you. I don't care. I'll come and hang
It
out
was
with you,
God.
boys. It's fun.
It was God for me. It was
Yeah,
God all up in that. I knew.
yeah.
I said I did not come for love. I came for business. I came to change my life. And God dog it, I did.
Yes, there we go. There we go. It was meant to be. So, okay. So, tips. I think like when you're dating, oh God, you talk about ratchet and ghetto. That was really interesting. I think that when you're dating, I think my tips might be a little confusing, but it's something for you to ponder. So ponder on the fact that when you're dating, you need to be very clear about the type of relationship you want and the type of partner you want. And some people make lists, some people go with a feeling and all of that. However, at the same time, you also need to be open-minded and flexible. So what you think is not your type, sometimes like when you get to know somebody, that person could be like right there. So I don't know. It's just something for you to ponder. So that's one thing about dating. Another thing is that I think that you don't need to pretend to be someone that you're not. So it doesn't make sense for you to pretend to be, I got all this money and I'm profiling, I'm doing all this stuff, and you're not. However, it's also important to be able to put your best foot forward. So, be on good manners, have good manners. Don't just be like, I'm just being myself in my pajamas. I'm not even going to try it. What'll be, will be. It'll just manifest in my life. But you're just walking around looking sloppy. So you do need to put your best foot forward, but at the same time, try to figure out how you can be yourself. I think like the third thing I would say is probably being lovable. So, maybe you should think about whether do you feel lovable, and it's really interesting because in order to feel lovable, you have to know what it's like to be loved, and in order to know what it's like to be loved, you have to be lovable. So somewhere in there, you need to be aware of any unlovable thoughts that come through your head that you have about dating. And you just got to get into this place of just being lovable. And it will happen for you. It will. Trust and believe it will. If it happened to me, it'll happen to you, because I am not anything more. I'm not more value. I'm not a more high value person than anybody else.
You might
Contrary to what people
you
may
have to let us
think.
have it. You like delete value out of, but you know what's crazy? Like in dating, high value is like a sin, but in business, value is like literally everything. Like without it's a $10,000 value, but I'm gonna give it to you for $9.97. Like it's
Yeah.
the ways we use value is so interchangeable. But
Well, it only works in business. It don't work with people. Everybody's valuable.
Oh, I love that.
I said
Excuse
it.
me. I also want to unpack it because I'm not gonna lie. Like I have dated men that couldn't add no value to me, and that's like where the controversy comes, because it's like, am I supposed to date somebody for potential? I don't think so. Am I supposed to be with somebody that can help me in my journey? Yes, but what do we say? Is that like your characteristics, your character, your skills, your ability? Like, is it that all a part of like,
It's something for you to ponder on.
Yeah, like
there is no clear answer. Yeah, there's no clear answer, and no one's going to give you an answer. I can't give you a clear answer on what to do or not. I can't give it to you, but when you'll know it when you get it.
Can everybody lay on their couch with me? Like
it's squishy. It's squishy. You can't nail it down.
Okay. Well, does anyone in the audience have any questions? We would love to like answer some, or Dr. Alicia, because listen, I'm here to get my healing. Okay, I'm here to have a conversation.
Look at all the people. Wait, let's welcome some of the people.
Sure, let's do it. Why did it go freezing? Like, what's going on with this thing? Are y'all here? Dr. Alicia's thing, I think we're getting the Wi-Fi together. Are y'all still here with me? Can you put some hearts if we're still alive on the Okay, so she's going to come back. She probably has some service issues. Yes, here she comes. Doc froze. View requests. Come on. Accept. Okay. Let's get her back up here. Let's get our educator back up here. This was one of, yay, I'm so happy.
You know what happened? I was trying to like see who's in here. Dr. Sylvie, Doc froze. Oh, I froze. Okay. I was trying to like read through everything and then I just like shut it off. I see this is why I need you, Jasmine.
Hey,
okay.
I'm here to help.
I'm trying to name some people that's in here with us, but I don't know how to do. Oh, Miss Lady. I see Miss Lady. Miss Lady. Robin Kennedy.
Hello.
I'm trying to.
Thank y'all for coming. Like, you took time out of your life to listen to us talk about love.
I know. And we were just like, I don't know how to see who all is in here. How do you see who's in here?
Scroll up. Yeah, just scroll with your finger.
Oh, wait, my cousin Jess is on here.
Yes. Do you want to invite someone up? Someone requested to come up. You want to invite them?
Oh, who requested? We can put a person in here?
Yes, let's do it. Oh, she's unable to join. I don't know if anybody wants to join, want to ask some questions. Dr. Alicia, her time is amazing.
Richard Carter, what's up?
Oh, who is Richard?
Richard Carter, the plug. He's the plug, girl. You're the pretty plug, but he's Richard the plug.
Oh, you trying to match? I'm in the
maybe.
I'm single.
Dr. Sylvie.
I'm single. I'm single, ready to single.
Come on, Dr. Plug. Are you single? What's going on? Richard Plug? What's happening? I don't know.
Okay. So Purdy said, what's your website again?
We didn't even do all that. Who? Your website? Give your website. Coaching with Dr. Alicia.
Coaching
just put that
Dr.
in.
Alicia, and then the other one is what's the couple?
Oh, boyceandalicia.com, and then you could join the matchmaking service, and then if you join the mailing list, you can get a whole bunch of free stuff. I think Boyce has a free book. Yeah, he has a free book called Financial Lovemaking. Really interesting book, and I have some videos and some free stuff on there too. So, and you can join the matchmaking if you want to.
Oh,
this was wonderful to listen.
There. I'm in the matchmaking. Ain't nobody gonna stop me from finding my happiness. I do not.
Don't give up.
With the love, ain't nobody gonna stop. You know why? Because it's not their life. Like, this is my life, and I only get one life. And if I live it based off other people and what they want me to be and who they want me to be, then I ain't gonna never have my pieces of happiness, because they gonna get their pieces of happiness whether they gonna be with somebody that love them or not.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I love it. So anyway, we'll be back. We'll be back next week. Have your questions ready, and if you have any. And thank you for listening.
Curious. Okay, we got something. Curious. Why are saying Black relationships are attack when many Black men are just choosing non-American? Not really sure what he's like getting. Like, why are we saying Black relationships are where many Black men are just choosing non-American Black women overseas? Like, Mr. Douglas, I'm not gonna lie, that was a very confusing question.
Yeah, write it in a complete sentence. I'm a college professor, so I have a hard time with bad English. I can't read anything without correcting. I'm grading everything, so because I'm grading all the time, so I'm always grading. And yeah, I don't know. I think
we gonna give you time, Douglas, to type this thing out. We got
try
time.
Again.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you can listen. It doesn't matter. You can get somebody overseas. You can get somebody from Mars to date. It doesn't matter what it is. The relationship is real as it is, and a lot of the relationship issues are the same across the board. And I have worked with families. I told you this, I worked with white families. I worked with Latino families. I've worked with Caribbean families. They ain't in America. I've worked with families from Africa. I've worked with all different types of ethnicities. And I'm telling you, it's the same sort of problem. So the grass is never greener somewhere else. You may think, Black women ain't worthy, whatever, of being married and all that other type of negative thinking again. And it all boils down to you. You know,
Okay.
it all boils down to the interactions, the daily interactions that you have with that person. It's all human experience, and it's very, very real. And so you may think grass is greener, but then you'll be surprised to see it's going to be the same issues. It ain't no group of people is more valuable than another group of people.
Okay.
You're fine.
He said Black men are saying Black women overseas. The women I'm referring to are Black, just non-American. Culture is very different. I guess, Douglas, are you saying, like, why do Black relationships see things that are wrong with women overseas?
I don't think there's anything wrong with women overseas. I mean, I think it makes it a little more complex because the power differential. I mean, if you're dating somebody overseas and, you know, they want their green card or whatever, they want to come to America, it's a power differential there. So that's something to keep in mind. I think, you know, research shows that I think relationships are difficult enough. It can be kind of challenging enough already, but when you have two different cultures coming together, it's just a little extra effort. Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it's a little extra effort that it takes for you to really understand each other and really understand where each other's coming from, because there's a lot of conflict there in a lot of those relationships. What's normal for you and for your family is going to be different from somebody else from another culture, and it's a lot more negotiating, a lot more conversation, a lot more discussion that has to take place when it's somebody with a whole different background than yours. And it's not impossible, but it is an extra layer of challenge.
Yeah.
So that's what I've seen in my practice. I'm just speaking as a professional.
That's good. That's so good. Y'all, I'm just this conversation and us be on this phone, like, it makes all my pain with men worth it. Like, I have been through it, and not all of my relationships have been bad, but boy, have I got myself in some situations that I'm like, I don't even know how I got here, but like, I am so grateful that I met you. When I tell you, like,
Girl,
we have something that each other needs, and it kind of comes from the type of combination that we are. We ain't gonna say
yes.
they gonna call us demonic and everything else. I swear, because I'm a Christian woman, and everything they gonna be like, she thinks she this and that. I'm like, listen, all of my best friends are in a certain month, and I'm sticking to that, and there's no reason for that. Okay. I am Tia Brom. She said, what are some best practices for dating someone with children if you don't have children of your own?
Oh my goodness. Well, depending on the age, well, if she's a lady and she's dating a man with kids, normally, it's not always the case. Normally the mom usually has custody. Usually the man is a non-custodial parent, and the mom is a custodial parent normally, but it doesn't always have to be like that. Actually, I like arrangements where both mom and dad have equal custody. That's kind of like the gold standard for me, honestly. But sometimes there's circumstances that just makes that impossible. So typically the mom has custody of the kids. And so usually on the weekends is when the kids are there. And it's important for the father to have a really close bonding and connection with their children. And so it's just, if you don't have children of your own, it can be a little bit of a challenge because you don't even understand kids. It can be overwhelming because you don't even know, like, I dated a guy in college. He had a child, and I didn't know anything about no babies or nothing. And I was just it was a little awkward. And I was like, okay, all right. It was really strange. It took some effort for me to like really understand how children operate and what happened. And so, and then the mama, you got an extra mama that's there. And so it makes it a little complicated, but again, I don't really think that it's impossible. I just think it's just another layer where you just have to try to adjust to that, and definitely have conversations about boundaries when it comes to kids and introducing them to you. I mean, it's all just a whole nother thing. And And people do, it can become problematic, but and it could unravel at any moment. And then there's moments where it's just beautiful little, everything is in harmony. And then one thing can happen, it can throw everything off. So it makes it a little complex when you got the Brady Bunch coming together. Got your kids all coming together. It can be complicated, but it can also be a beautiful thing. And I think that blended families can be just as healthy and just as beautiful as more quote unquote traditional families.
She is just honestly such a positive and breath of fresh air when it comes to Black love. It's nothing that we're gonna say, y'all, that she's gonna be like, oh no, like this can't happen. Like, no, I believe. Like, she's like me. When people tell me about their business, I'm like, no, we can do this.
We can do it, yes.
And then with love, you're like, no, we can do this. Like, yes, let's go. And
That's true.
I'm like, you have no idea. There's a generation that's just like, I have so many clips that I have collected from TikTok, and I'm like, I can't believe this is even a thing right now. This is happening. And we got some more questions. Can you recommend a Black woman therapist for a grandma of 2 grandchildren? Been there, done the 25 years of marriage.
Well, they can reach out to me, Coaching with Dr. Alicia, and fill out an intake, and I'll get a hold of you. I check my intakes daily, and so when people reach out to me all the time, and they're like, Dr. Alicia, I need help with this. It's like a little intake form. If you go to Coaching with Dr. Alicia and you fill out the little form at the bottom of the page, I'll reach out to you. I'll send you a message myself and reach out to you. And it'll be a private conversation that we'll have, confidential. And so we'll be able to meet and talk and hash everything out that's on your mind. So yeah, you can go there, Coaching with Dr. Alicia.
Okay. Well, y'all, listen, we've been doing this. I'm so excited. Next week, because you all are here, our next week topic is going to begin, do you believe in Black love? And I think it's going to be a good topic. Please bring your questions. Tell a friend, and then tell that friend to tell a friend, and tell that friend to tell a friend, because we want to just continue to unpack drama-free Black love. And y'all, this was a good episode. Like, share, and subscribe, and let us know that you are going to be back next Tuesday. You all are loved because you are lovable.
There you go. You lovable, girl. That's right. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Jazz.